Welcome, Ohana, to our August meeting. And our agenda for this meeting is generative AI for admins, unlock the future of AI, and add it to our skills as an awesome admin. Three of us are presenting on AI today, and I've already shared the links of a community group, the success group. Please feel free to join. We have a LinkedIn group, Twitter, now X. Join us there. And we have a YouTube channel with about over 35 videos from MVPs and experts in Salesforce. So join us there, subscribe, and enjoy the learning from the over 35 videos we have there. I'm Sheeba Tukral, and I have been this community leader of this group since early 2020. And so this is the third year running. I am a co-founder and principal consultant of kindcause.org and CFO Square. And I am 12 times Salesforce certified. I'm All-Star Ranger. All-Star means over 600 badges in Trailhead. And that's about me. And Krish, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Krish. I currently work for NPR as a Salesforce developer / consultant, and I'm 5X certified and been in the ecosystem for about a couple of years now running. And that's just a little blurb about me. I'm very passionate about generative AI and its use cases for Salesforce. So, and you want to say something about yourself?
Yeah, we'll talk later. Anyway.
Or we could talk later, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk about presentation anyway. We can talk later. Yeah.
Okay, so we started in February 2020, and these are all the meetings we've had. And I've posted the links for our meetings. We have called for speakers. Knowledge sharing is a two-way street. So we want to hear from you, your stories, your project successes, the lessons learned, Salesforce tips and tricks, any new thing you built or came across. Please share with us. If you want to present at the meeting, please contact me or Krish, and we can feature you as a presenter next time. So these are some of the useful links and info that I came across. Do you know that if you do the Trailhead quest on Dreamforce, you will enter for a chance to win Dreamtastic prizes? And I have these links. I will just post it in the chat. Then also, there's a LinkedIn course on prompt engineering, how to talk to the AIs. You can check out that link. It's very useful, and maybe you can benefit and become a prompt engineer, which is a really budding space to get into. Then there's a Vancouver nonprofit user group. They're hosting Hubble diagnostic tool, which is basically you can assess the health of your Salesforce org with this tool, diagnostic tool. You have a chance to, you can just register for this event and have a look at that. Oops, sorry. And then do you want to dive into the exciting world of Sales GPT? There's a trail mix. So please complete that trail mix and you get a good hands-on awareness of that. And then do you want to accelerate your productivity with generative AI? There's another, this link that I've posted, and it covers all these things, all that you need to know about generative AI for business, AI, data, and CRM, etc. So those are all the helpful links I've accumulated for you guys, and you can benefit from it. And do you know Dreamforce is coming in about 15 days, September 12 to 14, and me, Krish, and Sunil, we are speaking at Dreamforce. You can register for our sessions by scanning those QR codes here on the top. And if you want to keep up to date with all the events that are happening in the community, all the conferences, these are the QR codes that will make you reach to all those important dates, and you can bookmark them. This is a great slide to bookmark and make sure you don't miss any of the good events you want to attend. This is me, about me. You can scan this QR code and connect with me on LinkedIn. And so now I'll just talk a little bit. Before I forget, let's do a little poll. I want to test your knowledge on generative AI. Can you start?
Sure, unfortunately.
Yeah, you have to join on Zoom. Otherwise, you can just look at the questions, and here are the questions. All right. There are 5 questions, guys. Can you start participating?
So for us, on our side, we won't be able to see the poll, unless they join on Zoom. So
Krish, can you do the poll too? You have access to the web quiz, right? All right. We have 1 of 11. Everybody, please try to participate in this quiz. It's a good warm up before we start this other session. So which AI tool do you use and why? What are some of the potential benefits of generative AI? Generative AI can be used to create new and innovative products and services. Generative AI can be used to improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. All these questions are sorry, I'm reading out the multiple choice. So yeah, but you can go through the questions and the multiple choice. Most of them are just multiple choice questions. We only have 4 out of 11 responses. Should I consider other people don't want to participate, or what do you say?
A lot of people here.
wait,
So that's
a lot of
probably-
people are here. No, but she's saying there's 13 participants here
Okay, no.
in the Zoom call.
What are some?
All right, we have 7 people participating now, 8. Nine. All right, I know one person isn't driving and is in the car, so that's okay. I think, should I end the poll, Krish? What do you say?
Yeah, you can end it, don't worry.
I submitted it too.
Okay, good. And poll. Share results. Okay. Which AI tool you use? ChatGPT, most people said. I used ChatGPT a couple of times, okay. Then what are the benefits of generative AI? So basically the right answer is all of the above, which is generative AI can be used to create new and innovative products and services. Generative AI can be used to improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. Generative AI can be used to solve complex problems that are currently beyond the reach of human intelligence. And so the right answer is all of the above. And then what are some of the challenges of generative AI? The right answer is again all of the above. That it can be difficult to train generative AI models. Generative AI models can be biased. Generative AI can be used to create harmful content. What is the most common type of generative AI? Neutral networks is the right answer. And what is the most common type of generative AI? Again, neutral networks. I think maybe this got repeated. Yeah. So yeah, that's the quiz, and I'm ending it. So moving on, let's start the session on generative AI for admins unlock the future of AI. AI is not a new topic for trailblazers because the Salesforce platform has AI natively built in. When Salesforce launched Einstein in 2016, it brought a data scientist to every organization to harness predictive insights and recommendations to work smarter and faster. Today, Einstein runs 215 billion predictions a day. That's a massive amount of AI-driven insights for companies. Salesforce admins have been innovating with AI since the launch of Einstein in 2016. Using AI, data, and CRM, Salesforce admins are delivering the future of business. There's so many ways AI is assisting Salesforce admins today, helping you create intelligent apps and experiences, increase service rep productivity, create custom predictions fast, and so much more. And with generative AI, the opportunities for AI to continue to assist admins will grow. Generative AI will assist admins in driving more impact, more success for your companies than ever before. And I would like to call out some products or features in this slide here. This is a slide, and this is something Sunil and Krish will talk more about. These are the tools and products that AI tools and products that are being utilized currently. At Trailblazer DX, Salesforce announced Einstein GPT, which brings the incredible power of generative AI to the Salesforce platform. This innovation works with the full power of Salesforce platform from your trusted customer data. Einstein GPT helps you generate trusted content from the CRM data and improve every experience across Customers 360 for your customers and for your employees. Email messages, articles, landing pages, and even flows. Einstein is here to help and assist you in your role as an admin. This is the summer of AI, and there's so much innovation coming soon on the roadmap. With this exciting announcement of Einstein GPT and all the features coming soon, there's no better time to learn about generative AI and how you will be able to use it. So let's start with the fundamentals. So today we'll cover the generative AI fundamentals for Salesforce admins. And we'll start with what is generative AI? Why is it important? And finally, we'll discuss how everyone can be an AI-minded admin. So let's start with defining generative AI. What is generative AI? Generative AI is a powerful technology that is taking the world by storm. Generative AI is a family of deep learning algorithms that can automatically create new content such as text, imagery, code, voice, and even video. In order to generate this content, and generative AI algorithms learn patterns and features from massive amounts of training data. So that's why the companies are really scared and want to be vigilant about the security. So you may have heard the terms machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI before. But did you know deep learning is a type of machine learning? And generative AI is a type of deep learning. While these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, they are distinct types of AI. Machine learning leverages data to generate predictions. And more data we feed into the machine learning systems, the better it can predict. Hence, we know the importance of a good data. Garbage in, garbage out. If we feed in good data, we'll get the right type of output from the AI tools. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses complex algorithms, also known as neural networks that we just covered in the quiz, to learn and perform tasks without explicitly programmed step-by-step instructions. Generative AI fits in here under deep learning. We have been interacting with these concepts in our daily lives, like autocomplete in search engines or on your mobile device, but generative AI takes deep learning a step further. What is generative AI? Traditional deep learning methods use smaller neural networks to solve AI problems, such as making predictions or recognize patterns. Generative AI is built upon large language models, also known as foundation models, which are essentially very large neural networks. These neural networks include billions of parameters, the tiny interconnected decision-making elements that collectively give rise to their capabilities, representing a huge increase over traditional methods. While generative AI has been in the spotlight thanks to the release of popular products like ChatGPT, many of the roots and interactions of generative AI have been a part of our lives for quite some time. For instance, consider how our search engine knows how to complete the searches for you. The rise of generative AI. So why is generative AI having its inflection point now? There are three contributing factors. More data. There's a huge amount of data that is available today. Better algorithms. Better deep learning algorithms have been developed that discover patterns within these large amounts of data. Large amounts of compute power. Large amounts of available compute power make it possible to process sheer amount of data required for generative AI. So the second part is we've covered what generative AI is, and now we'll talk about why is it important. Generative AI is creating opportunities for businesses. In an IT survey, 67% of IT leaders noted that they are prioritizing generative AI in the next 6 months. Businesses are excited about huge potential for generative AI. This makes it even more important that as admins, as trailblazers, we understand the underlying technology and how it might transform the way businesses operate, so we can bring the power of AI to our companies. Businesses are excited about the potential to drive efficiency and productivity with the help of generative AI. Interacting with generative AI for the first time can be a mind-blowing experience. It can help you generate everything from poems written in a style of a pirate to creative email copywriting, to even generating lines of code. It's critical to innovate responsibly with generative AI. So we will call out the specific products, the features, and the use cases with the presentation following mine, which will be from Krish and Sunil. So moving on, the key use cases. So I'm sure most of you must have used the end user tools like ChatGPT, Google Bard, and so we can put this prompts like general sales for support, the brainstorming solutions, validation rules, formulas, writing, fixing, improving Apex test cases, UAT plans, documentation, user stories, etc. So you might have used those key use cases. Let's start with these core principles: trust, accuracy, security, and empowerment. Trust, we make it clear when content is AI generated. Follow your company's guidelines around usage. Security, protect personally identifying information and proprietary company information. Accuracy, always review and revise the generated content to ensure accuracy. Empowerment, use generative AI as an assistant to supercharge your capabilities. So we cannot emphasize enough on these things. We need to test the content that is generated by ChatGPT or by AI tools. We cannot just blindly use them. So emphasizing on that part. With any technology comes new risks. So how can you approach generative AI understanding its limitations and common concerns? Here are a few of the concerns with generative AI. Hallucinations. Generative AI is a form of prediction, and sometimes predictions are wrong. Generative AI, incorrect responses are also known as hallucinations. With any AI-generated text, it's super important to review the content, ensure it's accurate and correct. Data security. Protect personally identifying information and proprietary company information. When using AI services, trust is critical. Plagiarism. LLMs and AI models for image generation are typically trained on publicly available data. There's possibility that the model will learn a style and replicate that style. And that's why plagiarism is a issue, is a risk. Under spoofing. It's easier than ever to create believable online profile, complete with AI-generated picture. Fake users like this can interact with real users and other fake users in a very realistic way. That makes it hard for businesses to identify bot networks that promote their own bot content. And then sustainability. One second. Sustainability. Computing power is required to train AI models is immense, and the processors doing math require a lot of actual power to run. As models get bigger, so do their carbon footprints. Fortunately, once a model is trained, it takes relatively little power to process requests, and renewable energy is expanding as fast as AI adoption. To learn more about generative AI, check out the trail mix that I've shared with you. I will also share a few more links later in the presentation, which includes valuable resources and content. Now that you know how to approach generative AI responsibly, as well as some common concerns, let's move on to how you can use your generative AI knowledge and these principles to be an AI-minded admin. Be an AI-minded admin. There are 3 key steps to be an AI-minded admin. Stay up to date on Salesforce AI. Learn generative AI fundamentals. Get ready for data-centric AI. We are here. Get ready for data-centric AI. After your first interaction with generative AI, you'll see the potential. New innovations in generative AI, like those announced by Salesforce, will significantly reshape how you manage your customer relationships. But they require data that is accurate, updated, accessible, and complete. Having the complete picture, knowing what, when, why, and how your customer does something is the key to adding valuable context to AI. Focus on data management now to help you lay groundwork for AI innovations. Understanding prompt engineering. You don't have to wait for the Salesforce generative AI features betas to get hands-on with generative AI. You can start using free generative AI tools today. The first thing you can do is to understand prompt engineering. Prompts are how you interact with generative AI. Natural language prompts are the input used to prompt the generated response. Experiment with tools like Google's Bard and OpenAI's ChatGPT to familiarize yourself with the technology and start to identify places where AI can assist you. If you've never interacted with these tools before, here are a few of the prompts you can try. Write a friendly email text when a contact gets converted to an opportunity. Write a SQL query, like a SQL statement that shows me users with API access. Give me 5 slogans for an onboarding campaign for the new Salesforce users with my financial company. Write a poem about how Friday is the best day of the week. So these are some of the sample prompts you can use. Experiment and familiarize yourself with generative AI tools, but do not forget, always follow your company security policies when using generative AI tools. 3 tips for expert prompt engineering. If you're already familiar with these tools and exploring more ways to use generative AI, here are tips for prompts that may help you return the best responses from these tools. When coming up with your own prompts, follow these 3 tips. Number 1, provide context. Always ground generative AI prompts in your own knowledge and provide important context. Consider the difference in response between asking ChatGPT to write an email versus write an onboarding email for the new Salesforce user at a financial services company. Which prompt do you think will provide most valuable response? 2, be security-minded. Do not put any confidential company information or data into public generative AI tools. Confidential information can include source code, customer information, deal information. Always follow company security policies when working with generative AI tools. 3, always review and revise the generative AI outputs to ensure accuracy. Never deploy solutions generated by AI directly into production without testing and validation. Would you do it when a developer does it? You won't. So why would you do it for AI? Definitely test the accuracy. If you are working with text, always ensure you review and revise to avoid copyright infringement. You do not want to unintentionally plagiarize through a public generative AI tool. So we have learned about generative AI, why it's important for admins, and how you can prepare for AI today. To learn more about these topics, check out the Trail Mix linked here. It includes key resources to help you dive deeper into these fundamental AI concepts. It even includes a link to this presentation so you can host your own generative AI learning session within your company or community. So you can give me a session feedback here, and I'm also posting the link here in the chat. Oh, link. I'll just. This is the Trail Mix link. And thanks very much for listening to this presentation and being a great audience. I now give it over to Sunil and Krish to present use cases and the tool. Oh, Sunil, I'll make you the co-host.
Make Krish
Make me the co-host.
Yeah, I made you the co-host and Krish, so both of you can take over and discuss, and I'll stop share too.
And one more thing is, like, you can share the links with people. A lot of people do not have laptops over here. So you can share the links on an email back, like, so everyone get the emails with all the stuff, the links that you're posting in the chat.
Most of the things that I will be posting in the YouTube channel. So San Ramon SFDC YouTube channel. You can grab the slide deck and all the links from there.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, actually, a lot of people in the room, people like, it's good to be a in-person meeting, but a lot of people do not have laptops here. So
yeah, so please do grab it from the YouTube channel, and I'm just posting that link right now. Well, Sunil and Krish can start their presentation.
All right, sounds good.
so can you have anybody has a phone open? No, not this one.
Why is the volume?
Do you have it open? Just put a mute. Just put the mute. That's all.
No,
Wi-Fi is.
no, I think the sound is on coming from this.
It's mute.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's fine. All right,
Did you sign up? If you're logged in, then the voice is coming out. Okay.
No, it's fine. It should be fine.
All right, this is the YouTube channel where the slides will be posted and all the links will be posted there.
I'll share with them later. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll just do it.
As long as I'm coming from there.
I'll mute myself.
Sorry, there's some technical issues on our side.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do the, we can start our presentation, but let me just share my screen.
Krish, you're muted.
I know, I have to share my screen for the WeWork one too. So. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So this is
I'm here, it's fine.
okay. So hybrid meetings always have these technical issues sometimes, but this is
Someday we'll master it, right? So
it's a lot of moving parts. But my name is Krish and this is Sunil. We're presenting Salesforce ChatGPT and its related use cases for Salesforce. And it was a great presentation to follow up because it was really awesome. A lot of technical detail in the previous presentation. So hopefully I can follow up. And I see you have the AI avatar going on. So
if people are looking at it, you can see the AI avatar. Sheeba has changed her face, so okay, she looks different. So.
Oh yeah, and do you know that this is available in the Zoom meetings? You can create your own personal avatar, and this I created up for myself.
A lot of people can't see you over here, but in the room, so anyway, that's fine. Wow.
Okay, so a little introduction again about me. My name is Krish. I'm a Salesforce developer, and I work for NPR.
Yeah, I'm Sunil. So basically, my background is more finance. I'm a CPA and CFA. So I'm a fraction CFO. I've been helping businesses getting more efficient. We co-founded a company with the kindpulse.org. The mission is to basically help other nonprofits become more efficient. Currently, we just became a Salesforce consulting partner. And we basically, the goal, we're building a couple of products on the RevOps, basically making the businesses more efficient so that they can use Salesforce and other related tools to become more efficient. If anybody wants to volunteer later on, feel free to connect with me later on.
So we presented this similar presentation in Tahoe Dreamin', which is a Dreamin' event. And it was my first Dreaming event and it was my first tech conference presentation. So that was fun. And if you see, that was a room, very energetic group of people. I see Richard's on this call, so.
But he's not in the photograph because a lot of people join in late. So this is like hey, let's take a selfie. And a lot of people kept joining in. And Richard was in the room with us. So it was more like a workshop style. And the workshop was supposed to be a very small room, 12 people. It was the most oversold workshop, and we moved to a bigger room. 60 to 80 people signed up. So it was fun, kind of thing. And the goal was a workshop. We'll try to keep it the same way over here too. More interactive, talk to people. Not too many people over here, but still it's good to be talking to people and see what they are using it as. Like we were talking initially, how you're using ChatGPT today, and the use case, and we can keep on evolving, right? Not just like a theoretical presentation.
Yeah.
So what is the full form of GPT?
Well, people in the room can answer now because, okay, we just listened to the presentation. Any takers?
I don't understand the question.
Oh, what's the full form? If people
So,
talk chat GTP all the time, what does GPT stand for?
Oh,
like GPT.
generative pre-trained transformer?
Yeah, that's correct.
By the way, a lot of people didn't get it, right? Even the whole audience, people like quiet kind of thing. So it's good to know. What happens is typically we use the abbreviation so many times and we get so used to it. And people forget even the basic, the first one, generative, like we use it all the time. So we forget those things. So it's good to know the basics sometimes. What is the prompt? Okay, let's take a
input that you provide to get a response.
yeah.
That is correct.
So basically, we're trying to put an input to get a response from the GDP, and basically, that's what they call the new terms, a new profession that started, a prompt engineering kind of thing, how you structure it. And even you would have seen that too when you start putting the chat GDP too and start putting a different prompt, you get a different response. So like I know, I was telling my daughter about something long, very complex concept and say, okay, explain to me on our APIs and I'll to a 10-year-old or 5-year-old, right? So they said, oh, imagine there's a toy, you don't know the name, you want to call it a toy. So it starts explaining to you, like a 5-year-old language, right? So it's good to see, change the prompts. Like even if people are starting using ChatGPT, hey, I just put a question, you can actually change the prompt a little bit and you can have multiple responses that come back to you. And like, okay, if I want, especially in sales kind of background, right? So you say, hey, if my stakeholder is something like ABC, like a executive level guy or a junior level guy, and you can actually get a different response kind of thing based on those things too. So if you've not tried it out, so benefit for everybody. So what does the word generative mean? Okay, anybody?
Any takers?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's creating something, right?
Yeah.
So when you ask the prompt, it's going to create, a story or email.
Right.
So it's generating
Right.
text.
Yeah, so absolutely right. It's generating something. That's what it is. But the thing is, it's not be generating new content because it can be images too. Because like people have seen, like, all right, hey, create an image for me of bears on the slopes, right? Normally, you never see a bear on the slopes skiing. But I remember, like, I just put it down on the when we're in Tahoe. Hey, we were in like, hey, ski area. And one guy said, hey, I have a picture, I show it to you, a beer skiing down the slope because I got it done, kind of thing. So it's fun, right? You can use your creativity and you can generate as much as you want. But a lot of people are using it for context, but you can do much more than that, right?
And that kind of brings me back to the prompt. Prompts can also be in different modalities. So that's kind of the future of prompting. For example, instead of doing a text-based prompt, a user can use a voice or input a video or input an image or input a PDF or input a whole big textbook or input a lot of context. It will change the landscape because a lot of people are only using text and text outputs, but that's not the only thing that generative pre-trained transformers can do.
And we're just
Anyway.
coming back on the prompt, like Krish was like tying up an idea, like somebody was like, okay, there's a kind of marketplace for buying and selling prompts, right? Is hey, you might think about it and say, okay, hey, what prompt should I, for example, like Krish can talk more about it.
Mode. Stealth mode.
Not stealth mode, but not to him personally, but this other company we saw around is you put a prompt, what prompt should I do to get this kind of image, right? Or what if I, like a lot of, if you go down into the movies, right, like Star Wars and other stuff, like all the stuff is generated, you kind of used to draw before. I met a guy, he used to draw, hey, it's take a couple of days. Now you can get it done in a couple of hours, right?
Well,
because say with the right.
Let's just move on to this.
Yes. So basically, this was like one of the presentations. I was just looking at YouTube's and basically say, hey, you take a picture, the kids walking down and say, hey, what would be nice to have a puddle over there? And you just write down a prompt. And so basically that's what it called QR code is for a YouTube video that you can see. It's like 20-minute video you can watch if you want to just like change the pictures and all. Let's go next slide. So when I say, hey, I just put a prompt and image shows up, right? So the whole puddle is there. You see the shadows of the building, shadow of the side, shadow of the trees. Now, what happened? You had the right tool and you had the right prompt, right? If I say, okay, make it like dusty, or you could have changed it, right? So this happened in couple of minutes, right? So, and if you watch the YouTube video, like 15-20 minute video, it says, okay, he starts with blank canvas and says, okay, show me a kind of a grassland, put the mountain in the back. So basically, without even using a camera, you can start taking pictures. Maybe you can say that, or start creating pictures. And I was watching another video, like these guys basically had these guys are not photographers, right? This guy, he made like a wedding photographer portfolio. All people were fake.
Wow.
Yeah, I said, okay, hey, like I said, be careful, like, hey, like, so this is a new world. That's another one, like that'll come in the future. It was pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, it's a little laggy. But so one thing I always say, I have a YouTube channel too as well, where I post a little bit of content. It's been a while, but I hope to post more. But one thing I always like to come back to is why. Why are we even talking about this? What can it do for me as a business? And I think GPT in general can reduce cost, help people to focus on innovation, and allow more time for deep work rather than more manual labor. So, for example, there's a lot of things in corporations that are routine tasks that happen on a daily basis, and a lot of that can be automated with generative AI. For example, creating documentation that takes a long time, or writing user acceptance criteria, or all of this stuff can be automated away so people can focus on developing the product, and the money that companies are paying big bucks for can be focused on deep work and focusing on innovation and staying ahead of all their competitors and making more money.
The bottom line is what he's saying in very short is cut down the inefficiency. The boring stuff, right? You can get it done using the ChatGPT stuff and focus on more things that are more productive, that will actually bring the bottom line impact, right, to the thing.
Yeah.
So this is just a statistic to show kind of the magnitude of how many people. There's like 10 billion people on the planet. There's 1 billion visitors right now. In February 2023, there's probably a lot more. It's an outdated statistic, but I would say it's a lot of people that are visiting it, and a lot of billion-dollar valuations in this space.
So just like for the people, a lot of people already know it, but anyway, hey, this is what OpenAI. If you want to go and start using ChatGPT, that's the first. You go to openai.com. Next slide. And basically you get a prompt kind of thing. So there's a space at the bottom. You put a prompt. We talked a little bit about the prompt before. The one thing you need to understand is a little bit of information in what I call in ChatGPT that you get is outdated. They have that on the disclaimer 2021. I believe it was September 2021, but they keep on changing it a little bit, but that's what it is. So in case you're looking for something old information, that's fine. But you want to look at something more current, like 2023 information, it's not current, right? So you have to have that pinch of salt, but you're writing some documentation, chances are you should be okay, right? So, but one thing is there, you need to understand that, okay, looking at from hey, give me the latest statistics of people visiting ABC country or whatever it is, the information will be outdated, right? So you have to be careful about that, right? So we'll go through some of the use cases, like it was more like interactive stuff, so just for people to start jogging the memory, like just to get some ideas as to where you can use it. We're using some like an online shopping experience, a support agent, a marketing manager, and so on and so forth, right? So first of all, like, hey, like in the room, let's say, how are you guys using it as ChatGPT? Let's talk. Like, have you used, like, where do you use Chat? I know you said Bard in ChatGPT. Where do you use it?
Oh, let me think. I've just been playing with, experimenting, trying different things. So I had a friend come over who was totally scared of AI, right?
Right.
Because they read the news and it's like all these awful things. I said, no. And he lives in Utah and he likes to do side-by-sides, right? So I say, okay, so I said, let's go play with Chat GPT, and we get on there, and I asked him, okay, so you like side by sides, okay, so I said, and I asked for his address, I said, give me 10, give me a table of 10 locations where I can go side by side riding.
What
And
side by
it-
sides?
It's like it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle that's a lot smaller, and they can
Oh, it's
go
like
up.
Like ATV?
ATV type.
Yeah, except you're in it, and you have a roll.
Oh yeah.
cage.
Okay, I got what
So
you're
it's a
saying.
lot, yeah, so it's called.
So then
side by side.
you use ChatGPT to be like, where's 10
10 parks where he could go riding,
and then does it
Interesting.
And it came
I
up.
was
and
gonna think about that, right? So that's-
Build a table, and I said, okay, now sort them by popularity, and rebuilt the table by popularity.
Wow.
Now add mileage, going from, from low to high, whatever.
Right.
Some were really long trails. And then I said, also include a description, so we just kept building the table, right? And then the description, then I said, okay, now pretend you're a cowboy and give me the descriptions again. And then it rebuilt the table, with the
So you're
western.
doing ground engineering over here, right? So, okay, that's cool.
That's
I
actually
like
very
it.
good. And then was this through ChatGPT?
Yeah, and it was just I was so upset that he was scared of it, right? I said, no, this is gonna be the most fun you've had. So I just asked him, what are you passionate about?
Mhm.
And then I started digging into the things he was passionate about, and then I just started building this. Because I read about it, I hadn't done that example, but
That's
I just kind of did it right in front of me.
I'm hearing it for the first time too. It's a pretty cool one, right?
I liked it.
Let's do this.
I was trying to do like a Paris itinerary through
Did you?
ChatGPT. Remember a Paris itinerary?
Yeah, we went
And
to
then,
Paris in like February, so.
It's similar to like the location thing, because I was like, it's trained on the internet. Generative GPT is trained on the entirety of the internet.
Yeah,
But I don't know how up to date it is because
No,
20
but thing is, the tools just.
but it
like-
should still work, right?
Yeah.
To do this type of use
also,
case.
if you use Bing, just so you know, if you use Bing in their chat, it's obviously the same database, right?
Right.
But it'll go reference it'll do internet searches,
Mhm.
so it'll get local or current information.
But the stuff like creating an itinerary for Paris and countries like that, you were saying, it'll be kind of current anyway, because hey, they're not changing, right?
Right.
Tools traction, I think,
Trails, right?
Yeah.
The side-
except for the one thing is the rating of popularity might change because like, hey, it's closed today, make sure, right, kind of thing, because of the weather conditions or
So you
much
could probably use
like-
Bing AI. for
yeah.
that.
How about you guys using it?
Well, I'm looking for a job right now, so
Right.
it's been really helpful in that. I load up like my resume, my cover letter, and then I just copy and paste the job posting in, and I'm like, redo my cover letter for this job.
Oh, wow,
specifically.
okay.
And then I'll write up something, I gotta edit it for sure, that's very important. And then I'll ask it, like, ask me some questions so I can provide more information to help, like, kind of write a better cover letter.
That's very
And
good.
so it'll provide me some questions, I'll just write like a paragraph for each, and then it'll incorporate some of the information I give it into my cover letter. Just always evolving it, making sure it's like on point for that company and.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But did you wonder that maybe some people like you and your like you are applying for same job and applying for same job, you get the same cover letter?
customize it.
Just kidding.
Here's a question, it's like,
Yeah.
what have you done for this,
Yeah,
project,
yeah.
things like that, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's a
about you guys?
possibility too, right?
Have you used
That's
that?
why I like your, you don't just say write an email, write a cover letter.
Yeah, so,
Good prompt.
how about you? Like,
Use it for more personal situations, like sometimes I'm hard time saying no, so I'll say, how do I say no to my mom or aunt about this?
oh, wow.
Really?
That's the kind of the most fun.
Wow, that's intense, man.
Use for like code for gaming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you
it's
develop
for-
games with
for,
it
like,
too?
game development.
Yeah, Sheba had some.
Yeah, so Samira had a comment. She said, I've been playing with it for quite some time. While it's a smart tool and useful in many ways, it also has many limitations, and sometimes the accuracy is not there. Also, if you ask the same questions with more details, it repeats itself, just changes the order of answers. Samira, I can show you, that's why prompt engineering is a real thing. Prompt engineering will actually determine the output actually. So if you ask for an email, like I illustrated one, if you just write an email, but you don't give any context, right? Like that you want for a new user, you want an onboarding email, you want for financial some more context. So if you don't give all of that, the answer will never be what satisfactory or something that you can use. So accuracy is very true. What you're saying is very true. Even for formulas, validation rules, it can be very half-baked. It will not cover all the scenarios. So you will have to do the very accurate prompt engineering, which is, I've posted a link. There's a LinkedIn course. If you do that, it could be helpful. So it's for those who joined later, you may have missed it, but there's a prompt engineering, this link. You can try and seek help from that course. Otherwise, there's a lot of actually courses floating around, but this is the one I found.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, and I'm sure Krish will be writing more blog items because he'll motivate you to do more, push him up, and he'll be posting more content. Hey, how to become an expert, and that's what's coming at, right? If you just post the job posting and say, write me a cover letter, if 5 people are doing the same thing, chances are it might be duplicative. But if you were to say, hey, use my skill sets, it will be different. So you have to say, use it intelligently.
I was thinking like game development code. What games were you developing?
I'm just like very entry level, just kind of following YouTube's.
Wow, awesome.
It'll be like very basic like Python scripts, and I'll be like, how can I do this action? And it'll write up just copy and paste it in, that kind of stuff.
What's like the game?
Like I'm just following like a really basic like Unity tutorial.
Okay.
It's making like a what's it called? Tower defense game.
Nice.
So it's just like little balls that kind of move, and then towers that shoot them, that kind of stuff. So
and this is your first exposure, and then you're just like using it. That's so awesome.
But that's the thing, like what we were talking before is if you use it like a tool,
yes,
it can help you grow.
yes.
Right. First time I heard about give a mom a response. Okay, I didn't know that about. Or maybe give a response to my wife or other people. So it's always good, right?
How about you guys? Have you?
Thomas, go ahead.
I've used it a lot to like restructure language. Like if you're writing something, or like I've used it for my resume cover letter, and I've also used it to help guide me with formulas.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's pretty good.
And how about you?
I'm also looking job in Salesforce. So I usually create the resume cover letter using chat. And even simple programming language also ChatGPT provide the based on the best practices. So I used programming also.
For programming?
Yeah.
Like what's a example code snippet you use?
Triggered so they provide the best practices based on the best practices.
Yeah, so like for example, like
database also I in the database code. So database code also they provide a very best practice based on the code, like multi-file code they provide the
awesome. Like what is some best practices? Like for example, like that.
The multi-file, not hard code and
Not hard coding stuff. And it's like, yeah, having the SQL query outside of the for loop, or trying to limit the amount of DML statement stuff. What about you, Anusha?
I use it for a lot of different things. I've used it for school a lot, just for studying even, or just learning concepts better, because sometimes like textbooks will give you really difficult words, but it helps you really make like what they're saying like more simple and to learn about things.
What are you really saying, right? Like I hate a simple language before you get to a bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've also used it for coding issues and stuff. You can see what the error messages mean. When new ones you've never really like saw before, and then also there's like if you want to learn how to do something like I was trying to like a few days ago make a bunch of data into a CSV file. So I looked up in Python because I never did that before. So I was trying to see, so I had to ask it, oh, how do I make a bunch of data into a CSV? And
it was JSON data.
Yeah, JSON data into a CSV. And then they told me an exact code and different ways to do it. So that was really cool. Yeah. I also use it for infographics and social media postings. It helps me like think of captions to put and wordings for inside the infographics. So yeah. Lots of things, lots of use cases.
Anybody else who's online?
anyone online can share. Feel free to share.
That's it.
With like emojis and stuff too.
I see Richard is there. Richard, you want to share something? You got me.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I'm just trying to think of some good examples. I use ChatGPT mainly as a research assistant. I mean, what the analogy I use with people is that like doing a Google search is like going to a library, and a library gives you a stack of books and says, "All right, good luck to you." Whereas with ChatGPT, in other words, use ChatGPT to replace search when you want to get more well-presented results. You know, like show me all the different kinds of like all the different recipes for something, or I'm trying to think of what I was last researching. And you can even use it to even describe itself. Like, you know, like how do you can ask ChatGPT, how do you work? And it'll go through and you actually say, show me step by step how you work, what are the process you go through. And like Sunil said earlier, you could say, and explain it for somebody like who's a business analyst who's not very technical, for example. But yeah, I think it's really good for research. I'm experimenting with using for my writing, but I'm finding it a little frustrating because I have a particular writing style. And trying to do it with prompts is trying to tell GPT with prompts how to write. I'm finding it challenging, but maybe I'll get there.
So that's the one thing is there, like prompt engineering, that's a whole kind of new jobs have been created as to what the right prompt to write to get the right response, right?
Yeah.
And especially for the images, like we showed you one sample, hey, put a puddle there, the puddle with a little bit of dots there. So it'll give a different effect, right? What you write, you get a different kind of image too, right? Kind of thing.
I think that's really cool. Like, I really like what you said about the books example. Like, when you ask for a Google search,
Yeah.
you get a bunch of textbooks. But what am I doing with those books? It's like, how do I actually
Exactly.
off whatever I'm doing, or basically actually executing whatever I want to accomplish?
And some of those books don't have what you need.
That's true.
And you can tell ChatGPT, look, disregard these two books, but tell me more about these other 3 books.
Yeah. And Sumira posted a message here, I say, hey, this might sound funny, but I feel I always have someone that I could go to for a second opinion on something.
You know, it's a lot of these examples, like later on in the slide deck, I'll show you, but there's this tool called Pi, which is developed by Reid Hoffman, who is the founder of LinkedIn. And he developed this tool, which is meant to be your own personal assistant. And you can link it up to your phone, which is like a SMS, and it will literally be like someone you can go to as
somebody you can rely on, I guess.
Someone you can rely on. The text that will output will be more towards you because you've been talking to it more. It'll be keep getting trained more and more like you. You'll SMS. So, for example, if you're asking your like, oh, what should I say to my aunt or personal family members or things like that, the longer you've interacted with this AI, the
better it gets.
Better it gets to your use case, and it'll be like you would go to someone. So anyway, let's back to the presentation.
Yeah, it was meant to be more of a kind of interactive discussion anyway.
Okay,
Let's go. Next.
So, oh yeah, yep. Sorry.
I can go next slide. Next.
Oh my.
All right. So basically, one of the use cases that came across was, hey, online shopper, right? This girl named Susan, she wants the quick answers to her questions, right, while she's shopping on a website.
Or you can just use that.
That's fine. So basically, what you can do is like the companies you've seen, the chat bot is there, but what you can also do is you can train it in a way that, okay, these are the most frequently asked questions by the online shoppers of the product or the site and offering. Do you ship outside the US? All this stuff, right? You can pre-train it, and that's what you can use it, right? Okay, next. So the John, like, for example, like if you think like you are a customer on a website, you want to send an email down to the support desk, hey, but what do you expect? You want quick answers back, right? Next. So how you get the quick answers back would be, hey, there's Nancy on the side, she's a support agent, right? So she just uses ChatGPT like we were talking about, hey, let's kind of summarize the case, right? But before you even do that, sometime you might see if people have used case management or the ticketing system, there's so much stuff is going back and forth. You don't know exactly what's exactly the issue is. So what the GPT can do is like, if it's inbuilt in the system, it'll say, tell me exactly what's going on, right? And it's got 20 times back and forth. Show me in summary 5 bullet points what's happening, or quick small paragraph. So it can summarize it for you. So Nancy sitting over there can understand the issue. Just I'll tell you. Just keep it over here. I'm not telling you that. And so basically, she just can summarize the issue and automatically say, okay, now I understand the issue. Okay, craft a response. She reads the response quickly. So rather than spending time understanding the issue, it saves time there. Number 2 is crafting response. You get a first draft there. She can certainly edit some words here and there, push the button out, right? So bottom line is it's responded out, right, very quickly. And as you go along, it can get so much efficient. One of the companies I was reading about a long time back, they got rid of 80% of stuff, of the support stuff.
Huh.
So, and they said, okay, because it's so efficient, right? So you don't really need that. And some are auto responses. So what happens is you can even program it in a way. First auto response goes back, possibly you might not even hear back from the customer. But if not, like only escalated cases, when it goes back and forth a few times, you get a real guy. Next. So this is like marketing, we're talking about it, right? Say Michael, marketing manager, hey, I've got like a brain dead, I want to bring a marketing campaign, like I want to run an email campaign, some kind of scripts, suggest some topics like she was talking about, hey, some kind of prompts, kind of wording. It's a little bit laggy here, but anyway, so basically, ChatGPT can generate you some kind of scripts with ideas, get some creative suggestions. And right now we talk about images. You can even go for images too, some kind of innovative images too that go along with the campaigns too. Again, for Salesforce on the side, we were talking about it right now. So create validation rules. For example, like you're creating some kind of, hey, first of all, is you can even go to the basics. I've never written a validation rule before. Hey, explain to me what it means. You can understand that concept. Now I have this situation, you can talk about a situation, write a validation rule for this one. And then what you can do is, rather than just throwing it cut and paste, check it out, test it out before posting it out, right? So it can not, you have to always test it out, but it does save you some time on getting the first draft out, right? For the validation rule and how to write it. And second thing is the formulas is there. Then you've got the Jira tickets, people using any kind of thing. So you need to write something nicer way. Creating user stories is there, or creating internal documentation. One more thing, like we were in the kind of in Tahoe, people said, okay, you can, a lot of people were the same thing using for documentation. Like you were talking about stuff too. A lot of people said, okay, you can use Grammarly, the premium version tool. So first of all, it can do a plagiarism check, and it can also give you slightly different wording. So what you do is a draft one comes to ChatGPT, you put Grammarly on the top, and then you plus using your brain power. It means like nothing replaces the human brain. Yeah. Right. So first of all is the right prompt, like we were talking about, the right prompt, give the right response. After that, you play around a little bit more with it yourself and use Grammarly on top of it. Basically, overall, we should do that pretty quick. So basically, one thing I was going to put a challenge for every person in the room when I was there, I forgot to put it in. I can put it over here now. People is, hey, how many people want to write a book? How many people have written a book in the before? Anybody? But anybody wants to write a book before December, you can certainly do that. Yeah. Right. So what we were doing is like, I've not done that to myself. So we're trying to do documentation on for a new nonprofit cloud. So to share with people. But the goal is basically you say, go to ChatGPT, like you say, you're a game, want to write a game, anything. What are you passionate about? All right, give me an outline for a book. So it'll give you the first outline. Hey, I don't like it. Give me another one. Or keep on changing the prompts. So within a day, forget about like a couple of hours, right? Say a day, you should have a good outline, at least for the first draft for the chapters. Then you say, okay, chapter by chapter, right? You say, okay, hey, write something about this one and write something about this one. So technically you can have a first sloppy draft in a week, right? Wow. After that, you can use Grammarly and the stuff that we talked about, right? In cover letter, same concept, use the same terminology over and over again. You can kind of have a small, like even like a 20-page book or 30-page book, whatever you want to write. And go down to Amazon, you can get your USB key, or like the key number is there, ISBN number and all the stuff. You can be a published author. before Christmas. So we, as I mentioned to you before, we have a nonprofit kind cause. So we kind of developed a platform known as a KindX platform because it is Salesforce on steroids, because the way it uses a lot of other, how the Salesforce connects with other things to make a nonprofit more efficient. So what we do is we are kind of created a KindX docs. That's a link on that. And the basic thing over there is like Thomas is helping us a lot, and plus other, like we've got a lot of people volunteers also, and plus I could not have made this site without ChatGPT, and Grammarly will be using more. The goal is basically give them the first draft, quickly edit it, at least you're done, right? Rather than trying to start from scratch. And it's like an open source thing, right? Go ahead.
So as a Salesforce developer, I wanted to briefly talk about Salesforce development in my day-to-day. So some of the daily use cases I use to debug unfamiliar bugs, error messages, as Anusha was saying earlier, can be really annoying, really long. So I use ChatGPT. I would paste in the whole error message, and it would do a good job at saying why it needs to be done, because people on the internet always search them all the time. So a lot of people will have the same error. Troubleshoot issues in Salesforce org, troubleshooting different validation rules, formulas, creating validation rules and formulas. But troubleshooting issues in the org is actually interesting because the org has, like, there's so much automation and things, so it's hard to pinpoint what's causing the error. And sometimes ChatGPT can be used to diagnose different issues as well. There's also different tools called like Elements, Cloud, and things like that, where you can properly document your different automation and things like that. But ChatGPT is good sometimes as a band-aid solution.
Yeah, so basically Elements Cloud, if people aren't using it, what it does is it takes a kind of pull the metadata out in a thing, tells you how it's connected. So what they've done is they've also implemented another kind of add-on tool to it. It also basically documents like how many people write why this field is there, being created, right? So first of all, it gives a high-level architecture for that, everything, why it's connected, this field will be referenced in this flow, this thing. But along with that, they've added stuff on top for adding documentation. Rather than me starting right typing why this field was created, okay, Mr. ChatGPT, things like that, help me out, write down basic stuff here. It gives the basic stuff, modify a few words, you're done. So basic thing is how many people fill up the field, why you create a field, why the description, why it was created. So now you can actually do it in a better way.
And also, so going back to those stuff, like as she was saying earlier, there's best practices that ChatGPT enforces, as there's a lot of documentation written on it on the internet. So then ChatGPT's code sometimes enforces the best practices, or it can tell you what the best practices are and refactor your code.
So we actually had a question, like how can you use to draw diagrams for us?
So I would say the image,
No,
it can sort of,
it depends what diagram you're talking about, like
it can sort of do diagrams in GPT 3.5
in 4. She doesn't use 4. So.
I'm not too familiar, unfortunately.
But the thing is, it can, even if you're not drawn a diagram yet, in like in Lucid Charts or whatever it is, you say, hey, give me the steps. If you do some kind of operation, okay, step 1, step 2, step 4. So it can give you the whole kind of the flow in a text format, and you can always create a diagram very quickly, because what comes what, right? In any kind of process diagram, if you want to create, you can certainly create that easily, even if you have a whole steps written down for you.
So another use case for Salesforce development is there's a ChatGPT plugin where it allows you to search it searches the web on your behalf, in the sense that it will go through different links and pinpoint the issues. So this is an example of surfing through Stack Overflow. So it clicks on different links until it finds like the right Stack Overflow link for your use case, which is interesting.
It's more like a personal assistant that Krish was talking about. Hey, go and search the web. I like this topics. keep
This is
on
a
building the
co-
latest ideas over
This
there.
is just fun because this is an example I coded for. I was just brain dead one day and I needed to ship out some code. I think it was sometimes it's just like if you have writer's block or code block, it's a similar thing, right? So it's like I just want to write if today's date is greater than the discount start date and it's before the end date, return true. Can you just write that for me? It's just like English phrase, right? And then it writes the code for me, which is it's like code snippet. I like writing code snippets like this because sometimes it takes too long to type out, or if I type it out, I'll mess up the logic here or there. So then it does the logic very well.
Caution can make you lazy, so.
But then you could look at it and say, yeah, this makes sense.
No, so
Yeah.
it'll like I'm gonna joke, like can make you lazy, but same time it's like same thing, right? So before we used to remember the phone numbers. Now it's an iPhone or other places phone that you use. I don't remember any phone number, most of them, right? Except for a few, right? Because it's just just push the name and you're done, right? So it was like more like a joke and make you lazy, but at the same time, what he said was it can give the logic as a first draft. You still have to use your power, your brain power to say, hey, you know what, they messed up over there, they missed a comma there, or I would like this stupid lines over there. We can move these two lines out there to make it more efficient. So you basically it'll make you do more efficient work, the better
But
work.
I think the key thing is it's making it more accessible. So if business stakeholders want to contribute to code, or say, for example, people have disabilities, there's a new GitHub Copilot feature that's going to come out where it's like you can write code with your voice, which is what I was talking about earlier. You prompt with your voice. It's starting, you can code with your voice because a lot of the times they'll be able to write a lot of the logic for you. So
You mentioned Copilot. You're using GitHub Copilot?
yeah, GitHub Copilot, but that feature is going to come out in GitHub Copilot X, which is going to be the new release soon.
Oh, okay.
And then this is ChatGPT plugin for cleaning data. So you put in your whole CSV and it can clean data for you. But it's kind of I guess it's like pretty concerning. You're going to put your whole CSV of maybe like proprietary or data, but it can do a lot of the.
But at the same time, if the data is not the proprietary, right? Or what you can do is like, okay, I got a messy file, right? Or you can take some roll of the file and say, how do I clean it up? You can put sample data, remove the actual confidential information out. So you say, hey, this is how it will look like, right? And you can use it, or you can encrypt certain fields and re-encrypt it back. So you can, another way to look at it, it can clean up the data and you can use a VLOOKUP to pull that encryption back for the confidential piece out there.
So these are the GitHub Copilot I was mentioned before, and then there's Bard AI that was developed by Google. GitHub Copilot is developed by Microsoft, and GitHub, and as you know, GitHub, Microsoft bought a 49% stake in OpenAI, so they're probably using GPT-4.
Yeah.
And this is a dashboard.
No.
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah. So this is a component. I can demo it later maybe. So this is just a Lightning Web component where users are able to type a message into the Salesforce org, and then this would be like an example response. I made this LWC in the Salesforce org, and you can access it from the utility bar, so any user is able to use it.
Bottom line is
a
you can
quick
embed it on
reference.
any page or like utility bar, either way. But one thing is there, like this is like a new release from Salesforce is going to happen. This is like chat, instead of opening a new window, it's inside your system. It's not interacting with stuff. Only thing is it's an API key, you have to pay for it. Kind of thing, why you would do it, it's not useful. But if you were to like any programmers out there, you want to fine tune it, it can say, okay, rather than just giving me a simple response over there, scan this page or scan this case, like the case that I was talking about before, use this data, which is available on this page or the record page or account page. Now you just make a response from it. So that's the next step, right? Kind of thing. So this is just like give a demo as to what's possible. It's right there on any page. You can embed it on any page, right?
So yeah, this is what I was referencing before. GitHub Copilot X, where GitHub Copilot X will have like a lot of cool features, and it's really awesome because it's embedded into your editor, which instead of like going to ChatGPT all the time, it'll like auto suggest, which is really awesome.
When's that coming out?
So GitHub Copilot is already out. Like the new
Yes.
version's coming. I don't know.
It seems like he's gonna make a new software company, so I can come up.
I'm sure when you
Well, why write a book when I can make my own software? So, okay, and I want a voice. I'm lazy. I don't want to type.
I'm not familiar with when it's coming out. I remember they were when it was supposed to happen earlier. They were already doing the beta, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have a release date, like an official release date.
But the thing is, like what you see is there are many more tools. People just don't ChatGPT, but there's so much stuff. Bard is there, other tools are there too.
Yeah,
And
I guess
there's
that's
some-
why I was making.
Oh yeah, that's how we come together.
So these are some. Inflection is the one I was talking about with Pi. Galileo does designs, so Figma designs. So that's fun. You just prompt. It's kind of in beta. It's closed beta, but you put in a prompt. I want to like prototype. I was thinking it'd be really good for hackathons in the show.
Oh, yeah.
We recently had a hackathon, but making like a quick mock-up of an idea, build it out, like build up a whole prototype, and then actually building it out. Then there's one that there's different AI tools. Ben's Bytes is a blog where they constantly showing new tools. Hugging Face is a lot of the opens, like big companies like Salesforce, Google, Microsoft, they all have these different libraries or frameworks you can utilize into your own code. So it's good for developers, Hugging Face. And these are just cool names to be aware of. So this is essentially the UI design software. This is Gamma. I didn't say this earlier, but this one is for making presentations. So you would put in a prompt and it would make a whole slide deck for you, which is really fun. And yeah, I think that's really powerful. Pi is a personal assistant that you can link up to your phone, and it's supposed to be more supportive, smart. It's designed to be more supportive, smart, asking for advice, answers, talking about whatever is on your mind.
Just in case you get lonely. You have friends around.
This is a Disney artist. He was working for Disney originally, making those big landscapes. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can share because I'm sharing only the slides, but Daryl Anselmo, he's a Disney artist and he does Mid-Journey stuff, and it's really cool. I always like to see his artwork. It's amazing. And it's a fun slide. I was conversation starter, but
So basically, like people say, hey, a lot of stuff we've been doing, right? So when jobs, what is that? Yeah, so basically people say, hey, will jobs go away? Maybe not. People can think about that, but see, it depends. It's like, I take it like as a tool, right? So I was thinking about like, hey, I made this slide, right? So hey, think about it. You take a knife, right? Typically, it's very useful. You cut vegetables, you can cut meat with it. Same time, if you don't use it right, you just cut on your hand, you can like have to go to the doctor, right? You can really seriously get injured too, right? Similarly, the tools that you're using, right? You can, like I told you, some jobs might go away, but new jobs got created. Hey, I'm a prompt engineer, right? You get paid good money for that, right? Because the second thing is like, I was talking to somebody just like, hey, in the marketing department, they had 5 people, they cut down 2 jobs, just need 3 now, because we can get some content done, but the jobs are getting displaced, right? And that's what I used to hear that all the time, 20 years back. Hey, 20 years from now, some jobs which never existed will show up and some job will vanish. And that will keep on happening. Salesforce is like 25-year-old company, more or less, right? So Salesforce is not there, and all the people in the Salesforce ecosystem, multi-billion-dollar company, and save so many people are employed with Salesforce out there, right? Kind of thing. And same thing, like I guess you can use it like a tool. And if you use it right, if everybody starts writing a book, how many people have written a book? I could not write a book before, but because of this, I wrote a book. He's trying to make a startup, looks like that, for talking about a co-pilot. Yeah, I know, I have an idea, right? But at least you really should not done the whole thing. You can do a basic stuff and say, hey, I have a prototype, you can show it to somebody else, brainstorm with 5 more people. You get a good startup and maybe worth $1 million, which is like, hey, I want to just do a job. So it means anybody at any level can do much more if you use it right. Right. And if you're scared, all right, well, my job is going to go away anyway, you would stay depressed, right? Then maybe you have to go on the Pi tools, I guess. Say, okay, what will I do tomorrow?
feel good.
Make it
I
feel
think
good.
it's like,
I did this kidding. So, but anyway, so bottom line is that the message.
I think it's just, the main thing is jobs will be transformed
yes
with AI. A lot of the things that you did before might change. Your responsibilities might change. I think that's the key takeaway.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is that you take it as a tool to help me do better. That's what it is, right? That's the key thing, right? Because rather than being scared of it, you never learn the tool, right? And say, hey, let's me run the right prompts. Let me see how to do this better, how to make the right formula, how to build.
Yeah, my son uses it every day. He writes blogs and
Mhm.
marketing pieces for
Right.
businesses.
Right.
And he's incorporated it, so he uses it, he
Wow.
does the paid
Amazing.
version, and he's, Chat GPT-4, right, and he's using it every day.
Yeah.
And he's right, I mean, that's his business, so it's like, he could have been afraid, oh, I'm gonna not be needed anymore, but instead, he's leveraging it.
Well, I think it's like you can do more, right? First, maybe you can able to service 3 clients, you can serve 10 clients now, right? So because technically you can increase your income, that's one thing. Like for us, like our nonprofit, we have the KindX platform, they're calling it. The Salesforce came up with a new nonprofit cloud, right? We're learning about it, and now we're going to like increase it, like show the documentation, not the Salesforce messy documentation. So like it's huge, right? It's meant for admin guys. For a common nonprofit person, like for the CEO, what do they look like to me, right? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
easy way out. So you're trying to first understand the platform, and then we'll be using ChatGPT and Grammarly and other tools to be effective. So we made it like Stripe has a very big documentation tool, docs.stripe. So we got docs.kindx.org. Feel free to check it out. And the goal would be to go to a place for people to know, okay, hey, as we go along, we'll keep on developing it. And it'll be like a big repository for people to go back and just check our information out, right?
So this is the QR code for it, I think.
Oh, the QR code it was to connect with us, to connect with, it's just a type form, just connect with us and connect with Krish or me. Does it make a difference? Yeah. Mhm.
But that's just, okay, cool. And I guess that's it, right? That's the end. So thank you so much for listening in on this presentation. I hope it evoked any thought-provoking thoughts and things. And if anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to
Everyone should write in chat,
mention right now.
You're willing to write a book by Christmas time, let me know, at least feel to share. Please feel to share 1% royalties for a party. We put a party fund, and okay. Kind of thing. But thing is, it's possible. Like what I'm saying is, it was not possible before, right? You want to write a blog kind of thing, like you're talking about, like you said use case, or write a book, like a small book. But people just say, hey, I'm stuck in the head, I can't really write a book, but anybody can do anything you want now than before, right? Anybody in the what it's called chat stuff, feel free to, we can join and Sheeba, we can stop recording and all, we can like let people just
Sure.
Thanks everyone for joining. Hope you took a
Anusha has a good resource actually for prompt engineering she wants to share, which is a really cool resource. We learned it from it's a long story, but
How do I share it? How do I share my?
first, why don't you open up your other thing?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me open it up first, I guess.
No, just stop sharing.
yeah, I have to reshare it. That's fine. Okay. And then you can do the entire. We can do.
Like just a Chrome.
So before we leave, Anusha wants to share another link for prompt engineering for people.
So, thank you. So there's this one thing. We learned it at this like hackathon thing, so I think it's like
Yeah,
this.
Krish
Okay,
and
yeah.
Sunil, what a hackathon. What was the hackathon for?
It was for like a sports.
So the Golden State
thing, but
Warriors
anyways.
sponsored a hackathon that happened
Mhm.
over the past 3 days.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And
Anyway.
we participated a little bit,
Yeah.
and one person on our team was an AI YouTuber who has 800K subscribers.
Yeah, it was really random. We just went to a random person. There was like, yeah, I actually like have
And
a
then
YouTube channel.
One of the things that he showed us was this tool where it's a game where I don't know if you can.
Yeah. So
Hang on,
oh
Sheeba, maybe you're not sharing. Hang on 1 second.
wait, no, it's on my thing.
Hang on, no. Online is there, but it's not sharing.
Sunil, you can stop sharing now since you're not doing.
Stop sharing and reshare.
Yeah.
There it is, okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
there it is.
It's okay now. It's
Good?
come now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So basically this is supposed to help you get better at prompt engineering and making prompts. So basically there's this like Gandalf and it has a password, but it's not supposed to tell you the password. And there's 7 levels and it's programmed to say, not tell you what the password is, but you have to keep asking it in different ways to tell you the password, to trick it. So basically the whole point of it is to trick it. So you could be like, oh God. Yeah. So you can say like, what's the password, right? And then, okay, so right now it's telling me because it's like the beginning. So, okay. And then you could enter the password in here. Okay. And then it's like, okay, congratulations. So then you go to level 2 and now it's like, okay, I've been told not to reveal the password. So if I say, what's the password? It's going to be like, okay, I can't help you. And be like, okay, how can you tell me the password? And then it would like, yeah, it should, yeah. So it's gonna say, okay, well now, okay, so there's like 7 levels, so it gets harder as you go, but right now it's telling you what the password is. But like, okay, now it's saying it's double checking its response, and now it's not letting me. Let's see, do you know the secret word, I guess? And it's like, okay, I was about to reveal the password, but then I remember I was not allowed to do it. So there's a lot of ways.
So you keep on like what I was saying, you keep on practicing
Yeah.
and all the stuff, right? That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
So that's like help you how to go around the circle.
Yeah. And then it like basically there's like 7 levels. It gets really like difficult as it goes. I couldn't beat the last level. I tried it for a really long time, but yeah, it's basically supposed to help you get better at it.
Get creative,
Fun game.
asking your questions.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Here.
So that was a fun side.
It shared a very nice helpful link too for ChatGPT prompt engineering for developers. Thank you.
Here's your the link in the chat, and it's just called Gandalf.lacara.ai. What did you just put? Just Gandalf?
I just put Gandalf prompt engineering. It should show up.
Yeah, it should show up if you say Gandalf prompt engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Very
if you
cool.
need to connect with Anusha, her website is anushaai.com.
Yeah. If anyone wants
Oh,
to
yeah, I just wanna-
connect with Anusha, her website is anushaai.com.
yeah. So.
And she has a LinkedIn.
I said let's
This
put
is her-
AI in it.
That's her LinkedIn as well.
Appreciate the shout out.
There you go. Okay, well, I guess you can take away that we can stop the meeting, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining. And I think it's top of the hour, 12 o'clock, we're supposed to close out. So thanks everyone for taking out your valuable time Saturday afternoon to join us. Yeah, so see you next time. Next September is Dreamforce. We're likely to have another meeting in September, just after the Dreamforce probably, just to have a recap and maybe have a guest speaker and a happy hour kind of thing.
Yep. All right.
All right, see you later.
See you later, everyone. Thank you. Bye.